Let me tell you something, Pats Nation. I am feeling good tonight. Why am I feeling good? Because we just wrapped up day one of the 2024 NFL draft. And after just a horrific 2023 season that us Patriots fans had to endure, we had a top 3 pick. And I had to know that the future was bright at the end of this tunnel, and it officially is. Because with the 3rd overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft, our New England Patriots have selected Drake Maye, quarterback. And let me tell you, it does not get much better if you are a New England Patriots fan. It also doesn't get much better for me personally, because first off, I did call this. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I did call this. But 2, we can finally stop the Marvin Harrison Jr. talk to the New England Patriots. I just feel a massive weight off of my shoulder. But without further ado, let's really get into this video, talk about my thoughts. You guys can see my reaction if you were not able to see it live over on my channel. But let's just hop in. Now, look, we all know that Caleb Williams was the #1 quarterback in this draft class, and there really wasn't a lot of questions about it up until the end. Now, interesting fact is that before the start of the 2023 season, there were questions on could Drake Maye actually pass Caleb Williams for the first quarterback taken off the board. Then, with a lot of the issues that Caleb Williams was facing, not really about his play, but more so with his issues off the field, there were questions after the football season on if Drake Maye could still pass Caleb Williams and be the #1 quarterback taken off of the board. Look, if it wasn't for Caleb Williams, Drake Maye in any other draft class, 100% fully believe this, can't change my mind. Any other draft class, Drake Maye is the consensus #1 quarterback. And the New England Patriots, they didn't have to trade up. They didn't have to do anything. They were able to just stand there, stay a pat at 3, and get their franchise. And by the way, thank God they did stay where they did to take a quarterback, because there were some people saying, we'll trade down and get your quarterback later, which, by the way, you shouldn't. If you can get Drake Maye, you get Drake Maye. Thank God they did. But the fact that pretty much every single quarterback that we thought was one of these top echelon guys, like the top 6 quarterbacks, all went within the top 15 picks. Thank God the Patriots didn't wait until the 2nd round or to try to trade back into the back end. Look, I'm not saying that Drake Maye is the most polished quarterback in this draft class. I'm not saying that he is the most NFL-ready day 1 quarterback. But Jerod Mayo said this himself. He said, with a quarterback like Drake Maye, by the way, this was before the Patriots drafted Drake Maye, just so that's clear. Jerod Mayo had said that with a quarterback like Drake Maye, with a player like Drake Maye, there is truly no ceiling. His talent is absolutely endless. And that is why you are drafting him. You are drafting him on the potential alone. His floor isn't bad, but you are drafting him for what he can become. And a lot of Patriots fans not necessarily happy with the pick at quarterback at 3, because he's not coming into this perfect situation with a #1 wide receiver and a #1 tight end and the best offensive line in the league, which really is not a realistic thought. But at the end of the day, the Patriots have Jacoby Brissett. Drake Maye can sit for an entire year because he's only 21 years old. And that is the next great thing about Drake Maye. Drake Maye was a 1st-round selected quarterback who got him into the discussion of being a 1st-round quarterback in the draft all by himself. I mean, this kid didn't have a #1 wide receiver like Jaden Daniels, and Jaden Daniels actually had 2 this past season. He didn't have a #1 tight end. He didn't have a great running game. He didn't have a good offensive line. Any success that his football team was given was all because of him, because he put the offense on his back. I mean, sure, North Carolina had Devontae Walker, but at the end of the day, Devontae Walker had issues staying healthy, not to mention the fact that he never even put up 1,000 yards in his entire career. With him only being 21 years old, the ceiling is endless. When you have guys like Jaden Daniels, you have guys like Michael Penix who are 24 years old, pretty much what you see is what you get. With Drake Maye, What you see is not just what you get. What you see is just the beginning of what can still be to come, as long as you have the coaches in place to actually develop the kid. And the Patriots finally have the coaching staff to develop a quarterback, whether that is Alex Van Pelt, whether that's Ben McAdoo, whether that is TC McCartney. There are coaches in place to make sure that he is developed correctly, not to mention, again, having Jacoby Brissett behind him, who is a veteran mentor quarterback. Because there is also a blueprint on quarterbacks that sat for a month, quarterbacks that sat half a season, quarterbacks that sat a year, multiple years. You look at Jordan Love, he's somebody who sat multiple years. Patrick Mahomes, he sat his first year. You have guys like Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson, who didn't sit their entire first year, but they sat for a couple of weeks, up to a month or. And Drake Maye even said himself he would be most comfortable sitting for a certain period of time before taking over as the starting quarterback. And at the end of the day, you need to do what is best for your developmental quarterback, not just in year one at Bill Belichick, but doing what's best for your developmental quarterback for several years until he is confident with where he's at. He also has the size to play the quarterback position at 6'4", 230 pounds. Those were some of the question marks with somebody like Jaden Daniels if the Patriots went with him, who had the height to play quarterback, didn't have the size, didn't have the frame to be able to. And what I like about Drake Maye compared to Jaden Daniels is Jaden Daniels sometimes just took off a little too quick, right? He was mobile, but sometimes he was mobile first before passing. And you need to have a good offense in today's league, but it's also a pass-first league. I want a quarterback who's going to do everything he can on every single snap to get production out of the passing game before he takes off. But in today's NFL, to play the quarterback position, you also have to have a sense of mobility, and Drake Maye does have that. He can go out and pick up yardage, pick up first downs with his legs, but it's not going to be the first thing he does. You're not going to know him because of his rushing ability or his mobility in general. He's really good at extending plays because he's able to be shifty. He's able to make something out of nothing when the offensive line is bad and the pocket is kind of collapsing on him. Because there is a difference in types of mobile quarterbacks, right? You have guys like Lamar Jackson and their type of mobility. But then you also have guys like a Justin Herbert or even somebody like a Josh Allen who, yeah, they can pick up yardage with their legs, but they really make the magic in the backfield, making guys miss while wide receivers get an extra second or two to get open so that they can still make something out of nothing in the passing. As you can see here too with Drake Maye, he's put up really two good back-to-back seasons. In fact, in 2022, put up a much better season than he did in 2023, but he still put up a 90 overall grade, again, without elite weapons and elite supporting cast around him, was still able to put up 3,600 yards, 9 interceptions, 24 passing touchdowns. In 2022, he was able to put up 4,200 total yards with 37 passing touchdowns and 7 interceptions. All 3 years he started at college, he put up 100 or better passer rating. Maye can also operate in all 3 phases of the field, short, intermediate, and deep. He's actually really good deep. He just didn't get it talked about as enough in the draft process because you had guys like, Michael Penix and Jaden Daniels who were just crazy when it came to their deep ball and their deep ball accuracy. But Drake Maye put up a deep grade of 97.1. He's also really good at throwing between the numbers in the middle of the field, which is going to be very important in Alex Van Pelt's system because you have guys like Demario Douglas who are going to operate a lot in the slot, in the middle of the field. You have 2 tight ends, and I'm sure we're going to see more 2 tight end sets between Austin Hooper and Hunter Henry, who was just signed to a 3-year deal. Those guys like to work up the seam. You have to be able to throw in the middle of the field. Drake Maye can do that. Again, someone like Jaden Daniels had more questions about that. The concerns with Maye don't necessarily come with his ability to be a playmaker or his ability to fit a ball into tight windows or his size. It kind of comes down more to inconsistency. And there are some questions about his mechanics. I think if that's the case, I'm not worried whatsoever. That'll be able to be coached out of him with the many coaches that the Patriots have now offensively. but it's his decision making that can be a little bit questionable at times. He's really got to hone in on that and kind of improve that overall football IQ. Not just that, his accuracy can be a little bit spotty, especially when it comes to kind of that short to intermediate area. Something he is going to need to improve at the next level. But again, when it comes to accuracy, when it comes to not taking sacks and knowing when to throw the ball away, these are all things that can be taught. And it's not like he's this massive turnover worthy quarterback. I mean, he was tied for 10th in the nation in turnover worthy play rate with a 1.9%. That was just behind somebody like Jaden Daniels, who was his competition if he was there at 3. The comps are definitely real too, is what I'll say. I mean, when you watch him play, you hear about what he excels in, you hear about his size, you hear about the things he struggles with. You really do hear a lot of Josh Allen in his game, but I think you also hear a lot of Justin Herbert in his game. I've been saying this the entire process. He is like this perfect mix of Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. The question is, which guy is he going to end up being a little bit more like? But at the end of the day, when those are your comparisons, even a little bit of Phillip Rivers in there, all three of those guys were excellent franchise quarterbacks that as long as the Patriots put Maye in a position to succeed, this is a guy that is going to help them succeed. And the Patriots shouldn't have to be back in this carousel for a long time. Now, look, I know, getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but I'm talking theoretically. As long as the Patriots do exactly the exact opposite of what Bill Belichick did with Mac Jones, then I think Drake May's in good hands. And this has the potential to really be something because in today's league, you need a quarterback. You need to hit on that position if you want to be competitive, especially in the AFC when you have competition like Josh Allen, CJ Stroud, Tua Tagovailoa, Aaron Rodgers for the next, of course, guys like Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Lamar Jackson. But I want to know what you guys think about this pick. Let me know in the comment section below. Guys, I will have you really covered for every single pick that the Patriots make. We'll do an analysis breakdown just like we did in this video on every single one of those guys. So make sure you let me know in the comment section below how you feel about this. Make sure you check me in the rest of the AFC East Roundtable tomorrow, which is Friday, for rounds 2 and 3 for live coverage. But without further ado, appreciate you guys so much for watching, and go Pats.